There are disappearances that feel tragic, and then there are the others, the ones that feel wrong, like the night didn't just take someone, it hid something. This is one of those cases, a case that begins with a young man driving into the darkness and ends with a question the world still cannot answer. This is the story of Bryce Laspisa and the final hours he spent on a highway before he vanished without a trace. Bryce was 19, a freshman at Sierra College in California. He had loving parents, a steady girlfriend, and a talent for art that impressed everyone who knew him. Nothing about his life suggested danger. Nothing suggested fear. But on August 28, 2013, something inside him shifted, something no one has ever been able to explain. That afternoon, he visited a friend, sat with him on the couch, and behaved strangely, talking fast, then going silent, staring into nothing, as if lost in thoughts too heavy to speak. He gave away personal items for no clear reason. His Xbox, a pair of diamond earrings he wore. Things people don't give away unless they're preparing for something. When his girlfriend noticed the change, she tried to keep him from driving, but Bryce insisted he was fine. He told her she was holding him back from something, a sentence she would replay in her mind for years. That night, Bryce texted her again, a message that felt final. He told her he loved her, then stopped responding. Around 11 p.m., while most people slept, Bryce began a long drive south, a drive he never explained, a drive that made no sense. Hours passed, and then his car appeared on a remote road near Buttonwillow, California. Engine off, headlights out, Bryce inside, staring ahead completely motionless. He wasn't resting, he wasn't sleeping, he was just sitting there for hours. Cars passed, trucks shook the ground, but Bryce did not move. Christian, a man who worked as a roadside service worker, noticed the stranded car. He approached Bryce multiple times that night. Each time Bryce insisted he was okay, but his eyes looked empty, like he was awake but disconnected from reality. Christian later said Bryce spoke calmly, but something felt wrong, as if the boy wasn't fully present. Bryce's parents tracked his location through his phone's GPS. They called him again and again. Bryce answered, but he spoke in short, emotionless sentences. He told them he would come home soon, but he never moved from that spot. He stayed there for almost 13 hours, just sitting, just thinking, just waiting. Why? No one knows. When he finally began driving again, his movements were strange, circling areas, stopping for long periods, never heading directly home. It was as if he was fighting with himself, trying to decide what to do next. By early morning, Bryce was near Castaic Lake, a remote and silent place where the highway curves and the cliffs drop sharply. What happened next would break every logical explanation. Bryce's car accelerated, crossed a small patch of dirt, and launched off a 25-foot embankment as if he had driven straight toward the drop without braking. The crash was violent, but there was no blood, no injury, no sign he had been trapped. Instead, investigators found the back window kicked out from the inside, proof he escaped on his own. His wallet was still there, his phone untouched, his laptop intact, the keys in the ignition. Everything he owned was inside the wrecked vehicle. Everything except him. Police brought in dogs. The scent trail led away from the car, down a dirt path, to a service road, and then it stopped. Not faded, stopped, as if Bryce stepped off the earth. Search teams combed the hills, the lake, the woods, the drainage tunnels. Helicopters scanned from above, sonar equipment searched underwater. Officers walked the shoreline inch by inch. Nothing. No footprints, no clothing, no remains. Nothing that explained how a 19-year-old boy vanished into a landscape that couldn't have swallowed him. In the days that followed, Bryce's parents stayed near the lake, hoping he had simply wandered off and would return. People reported sightings, a red-haired young man walking along highways or sleeping under bridges, but none of them were Bryce. Experts analyzed his behavior. Some pointed to exhaustion, others to a psychological break, others to the possibility that he planned to disappear. But none of those theories matched the crash site, the violence of the impact, the kicked-out window, the perfectly preserved belongings, and the scent trail that ended in the middle of a dirt road. If Bryce walked away, he left no trace. If someone found him, they left no evidence. And if he meant to vanish, he chose a place where vanishing shouldn't have been impossible. 10 years has passed, and the world still wonders what happened during Bryce's final hours, where he went, why he left, and how he disappeared into a place that had nowhere to hide. If you want more real cases like this, subscribe to ShadowPulse. Some stories aren't just mysteries, they're warnings.